Hello everyone, I hope you guys are having a wonderful weekend. Today's video I am going to go over different takeaways from having owned quite a few actually power conditioners. But before I go into that, you guys know the drill. Subscribe, hit that like button, hit that notifications bell so that you're alerted each time I am here releasing a new video. So let's get into it, guys. Power conditioners. Such an interesting topic. I think a lot of people never really have or quite understand the impact that a power conditioner has in a highly resolving system. If what you want to know right away is, does a power conditioner make a difference, Jay? The answer is yes, it makes a difference. Now, those of you who want to know a little more than that, well, let me give you a little more of my experience. I have owned the Shunyata Denali version 1, which was the tower that you see here. I have also owned the Shunyata version 2, and I've also owned the Shunyata Everest. In addition to that, I have owned the PS Audio P20 power plant. I've also owned the Synergistic Research Galileo with the SRX power cord. That is actually the current power conditioner that I'm in the process of breaking in and evaluating. So that said, I can tell you a couple of things about power conditioners. Things that you are or you should expect to get from using a well-designed power conditioner. Number one, more resolution. Yes, more resolution comes from the lowering of the floor noise that is found in the electricity that we all have. As you guys know, all of our electrical systems are very, very polluted. The microwave in your house causes interference. Any device in your house that is operating tends to create some sort of interference, if you will, which will impact the performance of your system. So anytime you use a power conditioner, you are essentially trying to negate the effects of everything else that's operating in your home. Anytime I went to use any of these power conditioners, I felt that I was always hearing additional information that may have been there, guys, in the past, but it wasn't quite apparent. I heard things that were happening behind the scenes, if you will. In the background, things became a lot more clearer, right? Those are the things that typically occur. Some may say there is more bass. I can tell you that that's not always the case, but I'm going to get into that shortly. And I think holistically is a positive improvement for most systems out there. And I say most because I do not think power conditioners are very beneficial, extremely beneficial in all cases. I think every application has its pros and cons anytime you're using a power conditioner. The Shunyata Denali, in my opinion, was the eye-opener for me with regards to power conditioner. I was coming from a PS Audio P20, which was a very, very heavy piece, and I tried accidentally a Shunyata Denali version 1, the tower version. And I figure, it doesn't weigh very much. It's nowhere near as big, as menacing, if you will, as the P20. So I didn't have high expectations for that unit. Lord, was I wrong. When I used my audio research preamplifier connected into the Shunyata Denali, what I heard was incredible. I could not believe the amount of information that I had not been hearing. I could not believe the depth of the presentation, the soundstage width, height, even the bass became much more pronounced. And that was mind-boggling for me. I remember not being able to listen to music without the Shunyata Denali when I had it here. But as you guys know, my system continues to change. I continue to try new components, so I moved away from it. and I began to try the Denali version 2. Again, it was an incredible improvement over the former. I thought that there was even more articulation, better pitch, better definition, if you will. And then moved on to the AudioQuest Niagara 5000. I think that Niagara 5000 for the money, guys, is, in my opinion, one of the best power conditioners that I've had here. There is one thing that I remember from this unit, and that was just the black backgrounds, just the amount of three-dimensionality that I got from that unit that I feel went probably a little above the Shunyata Denalis that I had here. I really love that unit. I thought for the money it really was one of the best power conditioners. Now that said, the AudioQuest Niagara 5000 had this buzzing sound that made me angry at times behind closed doors. And every time I flip this switch on the back of the unit, there is a switch to activate some sort of enhancement, if you will, that would even come in through the surround sound speakers that you see here on my wall, my in-walls. I could even hear it through that. That has never been the case with any other power conditioners. I really do not know if it's just a transformer in it. The transformer was humming. I really do not know what it was, but that was one thing that I don't remember having any other issues with ever before that, with any other power conditioner. Then after that, I moved away to the Shunyata Everest. Amazing piece, even better than the two Denalis that I had before. It feels like they just tune things a lot better with this piece. You really do not realize how inferior a component is unless you have something to compare it to. Directly A and B comparison, if you will. That's when you really realize the facts, okay? But anyway, I moved away from those pieces and I ended up with the Synergistic Research Galileo SRX, which is the current unit in my room. Again, amazing resolution. What I found with the Synergistic Research is something that I probably couldn't quite get, or maybe even come close to with the Denali, which is even the Everest, by the way, which is that at low volumes, the Synergistic Research Galileo power cell tends to give you resolution. You still hear the tweeters sing at lower volumes. They don't just vanish. Does that make sense? That is something that I found quite interesting. It is something that I never really... It didn't stand out with the former power conditioners that I had here. I don't remember that being a strength. When it comes to the cons of power conditioners, oh yes boy, they exist. If you want to know, do they have cons? Yes, they do. And I'm going to talk about them right now. So here are the cons with a power conditioner. Number one, I do not care what anybody says, guys. Listen to what I'm going to say. Every single power conditioner that I've had here has had a sound signature. Every single one of them. Now, does that mean that there aren't any out there that may not have that impact? Sure. But what I have had here, every single one of them had a flavor, if you will. Yes, there was more resolution. Yes, there was more things happening. Yes, the floor noise was even diminished. You heard less background noise. All of that was there. There's no question. The articulation was better. All of that, yes. It was definitely there. But one thing that I will say, in my opinion, my humble opinion, I feel that a lot of power conditioners that I've had here took away the musicality of the presentation. They robbed the music. Essentially, you traded things. You traded the musicality for more resolution, more detail. I didn't really realize this in the past. I think I came to this realization maybe over the last 2-3 months of trying different power conditioners, how much of the beautiful performance, how much of the performance in terms of the tonality of the music is taken away with a power conditioner. Now that could be just me, but I'm going to tell you that even with my VAC statement monos, which are tube, anytime I plug them into a power conditioner, I feel this extra forced resolution coming out of the speaker, but I almost feel like the tubes are just not present anymore. I feel like the tubes are essentially absent. It became far more resolving, but it made you forget you were using tubes. Does that make sense? Which I think it's a con if you're going to take away the warmth, the beauty of tubes. I don't see how that could be a positive thing. Okay, and that's something that occurred with my VAC monos, and it actually did occur too with my audio research line stages from the past. Another thing that I think is a con about power conditioners, I tried, and you guys know I have crazy amplification. Yes, I know that. But all of my amplifiers, every single one of my heavy duty amplifiers failed each and every time I plugged them into any of these power conditioners. You got the feeling of more resolution, but you know the one thing that a power conditioner has never delivered with a great design amplifier. You know what that was? The bass. The bass thinned out. The bass seemed like it went on a diet, if you will. It just didn't feel as powerful. It got anemic. I wouldn't say you cut the fat out, but I feel like you lost muscle and the presentation began to feel a lot more slender. You lost that girth to the presentation. And I tried different amplifiers, guys, and it was always the case. Now, some of you guys with amplifiers that are not so powerful, I know there are some amplifiers out there that are 25 watts, 30 watts class A, tube amplifiers that are low power. I would say some of you guys could benefit from trying this. So don't think that what I'm saying is gospel, okay? You got to do your own trials, but my personal opinion has been that I do not feel power conditioners with amplifiers plugged into them where a positive change, a positive where a positive improvement on the presentation. So for me, I'm not even going to try it anymore. No more amplifiers will ever get plugged into a power conditioner. Period. I am tired of doing it. Just no point anymore. Okay. Now, if I had a Class D amplifier, if I had something with less power, by all means, I would try it. But if you own big boy amplifiers, powerful amps, forget a power conditioner. Buy the best power cord you can afford and do that. Plug it straight into the wall. Now, many people always ask me, day in, day out, Jay, do you worry about lightning striking and basically blowing up all your equipment, right? It's one of the biggest concerns that a lot of you guys have, is the having absolutely no power surge protection, right? To be honest with you guys, I don't really worry about those things. Maybe I should, but I really don't worry about that, okay? Now, if you're concerned, sure, buy a power conditioner, plug your stuff into that, and go from there. I have noticed, I will say this, I have noticed positive improvements with certain preamplifiers being plugged into a power conditioner. I do feel that some preamplifiers definitely benefit from this power, this cured power conditioning. But you have to definitely try which component that you currently own benefits the most. Some say it's the source. Some say it's your DAC, your vinyl, your CD player. I can see that because these devices don't really pull a lot of power. I can see how they could definitely benefit from clean power. But for me, what I am doing is buying the best power cord I can afford and use that and go straight into the wall. That's always yielded the best price performance for me. Of course, some of the power cords that I have here are a lot of money. I understand that. It's ridiculous. I am with you 1,000%. But I can tell you that a great power cord can do oftentimes a better job than a power conditioner. You heard it. A great power cord can oftentimes do a better job than a power conditioner when it comes to sonics. Now, it's not going to protect you from a lightning strike in your house and protecting your equipment, but it can definitely give you, in my opinion, the best improvements, holistically speaking. I will say this. Having owned the MSB reference DAC now for a few months, you guys can just circle back to the videos and you can find out when is it that I presented it to you guys. I have found out my MSB reference DAC does not sound as good when plugged into a power conditioner. The bass, again, leans out completely. I have bass, but it's just lean. There's no thump. There's no muscularity to the presentation. There is definitely more resolution here and there, but I feel like I'm not willing to trade off a little extra more nuance for less bass. I'm just not going to do that because the presentation already has enough articulation and resolution as it is, because the MSB DAC is such a great DAC. So when it comes to my components, the DAC itself, I use the best power cords that I can afford, and I go straight into the wall with my DAC. Now, some of you guys may get better results by going into your power conditioner. Maybe with a DCS, you can try that, but not for me. It hasn't happened. So far, I am still doing the DAC straight into the wall with the best power cord I can afford. So right now, my monos are connected straight into the wall with the best power cords, with some transparent Opus Generation 5 power cords. My DAC is connected straight into the wall with Shunyata Omega QRS's power cords, 2 of them, because my DAC takes 2. I have the dual power bases. My preamplifier right now is, I am still going and trying between the power conditioner or straight into the wall. I have not decided yet what is really giving me the best of both worlds, sonically speaking. So it's going to take me some time to figure that out. But if you can see at this point, I have nothing really for now, as far as 2-channel components are concerned, that is plugged into a power conditioner. I don't. I honestly don't miss it. It could be my Wilson audio speakers, guys. It could be that it's simply the speaker that doesn't like that added force resolution, right? I tend to even say, I actually am willing to say this, some of the power conditioners that I've had here, although they give you greater resolution, they added a little brightness, which I'm just tired of. I am tired of having this added resolution that results in brightness. To me, as I begin to understand my journey better and my hearing better, I can tell you this, to me, I don't care for added resolution, more detail, more this, more that. If it doesn't engage me, it does not make a difference. This is why I am starting to find out I do not like a lot of the footers out there. I don't care for them because to me, it adds more resolution, but my system is already highly resolving. I don't really need to push more out of it. Does that make sense? There's no need for that. Some of you guys with less resolving systems that are more in the middle of the tier groups that I already went over, you guys could definitely be the demographic that can take advantage of these tweaks to enhance and push more resolution out of your components. You guys should definitely try these tweaks. Definitely try power conditioner. Definitely try footers. But if you are a person like me with a system at this level, I just don't think it's useful. I really don't think it's worth its money well spent. I really think you're better off spending money on your outlets, the wire inside your wall, the circuit breaker, and power cords than to buy a power conditioner. Because remember, all of this high-end stuff oftentimes already has incredible overbuilt power supplies. They usually already come very well put together. So sometimes doing more doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to get more of what you ultimately want, which is long hours, long listening sessions, and just basically looking at your watch and saying, it's 3 a.m., I need to go to sleep because I got to work tomorrow. See, I am trying to get there. I am trying to get to sit here in this chair for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 hours and just having to turn the system off because I have things to do tomorrow morning, not because I just don't feel engaged anymore. So be careful with power conditioners. Be careful with, designing your system. In conclusion, I can say this to you, they definitely yield more information, more resolution, power surge protection, less floor noise. All of that is definitely there, guys. But remember, there are cons as well. And if you really, really are a person that has already been working on a system for a long time, and you know your system really well, then you should be the person to quickly pick up what has not really been an improvement sonically, because your system is already highly resolving. That added information that power conditioner is going to give you is not going to make you sit for longer periods of time. Okay, noise suppression to me is the most important thing that I am starting to realize. The grounding pieces, grounding cables, lowering your floor noise at all costs, I think is one of the most overlooked things in audio. And I do not think that a power conditioner, for me at least anyway, is the best approach at lowering this floor noise, because you're also completely poisoning the presentations in ways that I simply do not like it. Okay, those are my 2 cents. I hope you liked today's video. Thank you for your time. Peace.